Well, no going back now.
Oh my God, the whole thing broke.
This is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, seems like that's a worse situation on this side, King.
Well, all right, guys, we've run into a bit of a problem. Can somebody with absolutely no experience build their dream car? Well, ever since I saw this sweet orange car on the front of Frank Ocean's Nostalgia Ultra LP cover, I have wanted to get an E30. The only problem is, they stopped making them over 30 years ago. So there's just not that many left in good condition. But I've been determined to get one. I've been losing auctions on Bring a Trailer left and right. But last month, I was lucky enough to find one only 450 miles away. So we rented a trailer, drove all the way there, and towed it 6 hours back to my garage. And finally, I became an owner of a 1989 BMW 325i E30. And really, there's only one problem, and that's that it has a lot of problems. Because, I mean, technically, legally speaking, I can't drive this car yet. It doesn't have plates, it doesn't have seatbelts, it doesn't have turn signals or even a bumper. The interior is all sorts of scuffed up. There's 2 different seats in the car and neither of them are bolted in. The glove box is completely broken, and if I want to start the car, I have to push a freaking button from Alibaba that you can get for $8. But you know what this car does have, guys? A leak. It already has a freaking leak. I've had this car for 2 days and it's already... So yeah. This car is gonna take some work. It needs to be inspected, fluids changed, new seats, new seat belts, new gear shifter, new turn signals, and so much more. So with all that being said, guys, today, we're gonna slap a body kit on this baby. New bumper, new side skirts, lower it as far as we can, and of course, slap a wing on it. Because honestly, those are my top priorities. But guys, before we get into it, I want to give a big thank you to our first ever sponsor on this channel. Big thank you to Viofo for sponsoring this video and sending me their A119M Pro 4K dash cam. Now guys, if you drive a car that you really care about, you're gonna want a dash cam because there's some crazy people out there. You don't want to end up in a situation where somebody rear ends you and then tries to say it was your fault. And that's why dash cams are so important, guys. And Viofo has been making dash cams for 14 years now. And they are consistently rated as some of the top dash cams on the market. This dash cam films in 4K, 30 FPS, and uses Sony Starvis 2 technology to capture license plates clearly, even at night or if you're traveling at high speeds. It even has built-in Wi-Fi and voice control, so you can ask it to take pictures or videos hands-free. But I think that the best feature is the automatic event monitoring. If it detects that you've been in an accident, it'll automatically save the 15 seconds before the event and 30 seconds after without you having to do anything. And trust me, guys, if you get in an accident, you are gonna want to have the evidence that shows that you're innocent. And right now, Viofo is running a Christmas promotion where you can get huge discounts on these dash cams. So make sure you check out the link in my description and get yourself a Viofo dash cam to keep you and your car protected. I could not have asked for a better first sponsor on this channel. Big thank you to Viofo for supporting me, and let's get back into the video. So alright, I'm headed to the garage now, and some of you may remember that in the last video it was completely empty other than the car. So over the last few weeks, I've been hard at work building it out and getting everything we'll need for this project, and really only adding things that are 100% necessary for working on cars. Okay, yes, I added a racing sim, but this is actually going to be more important than you think, and I'll tell you why in a second. But if we're gonna work on cars, we're gonna need some tools, and this is everything I currently own. Now, for you experienced car people out there, this probably isn't much to you, but it's everything I've collected working on my E34 in my driveway over the past year. But I can't just keep these tools on the floor, guys. I'm a professional, so I also bought my first toolbox. I also added some storage shelves to start organizing everything I have, a lot of which is just random car stuff and cleaning supplies. And it's actually starting to look like a real garage in here. Throw in some nice couches and a rug, plenty of Red Bulls, and a giant Power Nudes decal to the wall. And this isn't just a garage anymore, guys. It's a home. But if you're wondering why there's a racing sim in here, well, there's one very important reason for that. How am I supposed to know what the E30 is going to look like if I don't build it in Forza first? We literally have an E30 in Forza right now. And obviously I have to test drive it in Forza first so I know what to expect when I drive it in real life. If the IRS is watching this sim is 100% necessary to my business operations. And speaking of 100% necessary, it's time we slap the body kit on this car to totally transform the look. And we got to start with the bumper because it currently doesn't have one. But I'm going to need some help for this, so I'm going to call in my friend Dante. Now, although the car came with an M-Tech 2 bumper, you can't just put it on the car. You actually need part of the original E30 bumper to actually put the aftermarket bumper on. So I had to buy a stock E30 bumper off of Facebook Marketplace and take it apart just to get to the crash bar. All right, so this is the original E30 bumper. I had to buy this on Facebook Marketplace, literally just so we could get this inside piece. This is the impact bar that'll actually connect to the car. And then once that's connected to the car, we connect this to that impact bar. Now, we thought taking this apart would be super simple, but of course it wasn't. It took us about an hour just to figure out how to pop all the pins out and remove some of the bolts to get to the crash bar, but it went really smooth and I didn't break anything at all. I didn't even break an spot. So we got the crash bar out, but when we went to put it on the car, we realized we didn't have the bumper shocks, another rare piece that we needed. So I ordered some online and they showed up a week later. Well, it's like Christmas Day, but all you get are some bumper shocks from the 80s. Yeah. So these bumper shocks actually hold the crash bar onto the car, so they're very important and they just bolt in. And with those on the car, we were able to mount the crash bar fully onto the car, and the final thing to do was to put the new bumper on. It pretty much just fits snugly onto the crash bar, but for extra support, you're supposed to secure it to the fenders. And our first thought was to just use some screws, but that didn't go very well. All right, so to get this more secure onto the car, we're gonna use these self-tapping screws. This was my first time using self-tapping screws, and when I tried to drill into the corner of the fiberglass bumper, yeah, that wasn't good. But don't worry, we had a great backup plan. Zip ties. Yes, my new bumper is literally being held on by zip ties, but they're the same color as the car, so it's fine if you can't even see them. So we drilled holes and zip tied the bumper into both front fenders, and just like that, we got the new bumper on the car, and it looks so much better than before. But up next is arguably the coolest part of any body kit, but also the riskiest part to add to a car, and that's the wing. Wings look awesome, but the thing that makes a wing so risky is that it requires you to drill permanent holes into your trunk in order for the wing to stay on. And what's worse is that without a template for the specific wing you have, you don't know where to drill the holes on the trunk. And if you mess up, the wing won't fit and you'll just have random holes in your car. And of course, we didn't have a template for this wing, so we traced it on a piece of construction paper and measured and mapped out the holes we had to drill into the trunk. And then we taped the construction paper to the trunk, but realized that the trunk wasn't flat, so we redid the measuring and tracing on the trunk itself, which made more sense. Well, guys, we've done everything we can. We have all of our diagrams, everything lined up. We got numbers, we got math. Checked every number multiple times. We're still gonna mess this up. Oh man, this is gonna ruin my freaking night. How thick is this? Should I be ready for a battle here? We happy with this spot?
I guess. Are you?
Hell yeah, brother. 3, 2, 1. Okay. And here we go. No turning back now. Irreparable damage being done to the body of this car. All we can hope for is that I'm drilling in the right spot. Well, we're through something. So the first hole was in, which means every other hole has to be aligned with this one now. And after that, we drilled a second hole on the other side, and it was time to see if they were lined up. All right, this was our big concern, that the holes would not line up, but... So we put the wing on and drilled the screws up into it, and I gotta be honest, to my surprise, we kinda nailed it. Holy shit, we lined it up. Look at that, it's on. First impression is that it's lined up. We've only done 2 out of the 6 holes, so it's not down all the way, but that's still a win. So the next day we finished drilling the rest of the holes. Some of the holes weren't perfectly lined up, but it wasn't too hard to shape the holes to get them to be close enough. We put the rest of the screws in, and just like that, the E30 has a wing on it, and I absolutely love it. This is my favorite thing I've done so far, and it was really stressful, but it definitely paid off. Eventually we'll paint the wing, but for now, I think it looks pretty good. So to complete the body kit now, all we have to do is put on the side skirts, but this means jacking up the car for the first time, and if you've watched this channel before, you'd know I've had some problems with this in the past. But I had no problems this time. I got the car jacked up and put on jack stands, but when we slid the side skirts into place, we noticed that it mostly fit, but it was a bit off because the body panels didn't fully come together properly in the front, and this caused a curious Dante to check the other side of the car, and we found something not so good.
Yeah, seems like the worst situation on this side.
Oh, you could probably fit an entire finger in there.
Hood's like not even on. Now this gap is so bad that there's no way we can put the side skirts on because they wouldn't sit flush against the car. So we'll have to stash those away for now until we address that issue in the future. Then I ran into another problem. Well, all right, guys, we've run into a bit of a problem. So we want to get in the car and actually do some real work, but like it's just a little too high off the ground. I can't get in the car yet, so I think we're gonna have to lower it, I don't know, 1 or 2 inches, just so that we can get inside and work on it. I mean, that's the only reason, but until then, there's nothing else we can do. Now, I've never lowered a car before, but this car already has aftermarket coilovers on it, so it should just be a matter of adjusting those. Easy. So I took off the front wheel to access the coilover, and basically the coilovers have these locking rings and adjusting rings that you can twist in certain ways to adjust how high or low the car rides. So this is where the wheel sits, and basically we want to shorten the distance here, and that will make the ride height a little bit lower. So we're gonna start by loosening this And using YouTube tutorials, we learned to unlock the bottom ring and then twist the entire coilover shaft to get it to rise higher up into the car, which should lower the ride height. And then we did the same thing on the other side and counted the threads to make sure that they were equal heights on both sides. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. But before we lowered the back of the car, we wanted to make sure that this actually worked. On a scale from 1 to 10, how slammed is it gonna be? So we dropped it down and you could immediately tell the front was quite a bit lower, but now the back of the car looked ridiculous because of how high it was in comparison. And when I went to adjust the back coilovers, finally something went horribly wrong in this video. It was a new day and I was by myself and learned that the rear coilovers are a completely different setup called divorced coilovers.
So basically there's two pieces, which makes it a little more complicated, but we want to adjust the spring on the back. But the first thing I got to do is disconnect this coilover. I don't even know if that's the right word for it.
So the divorced coilovers are a little more complicated, and the first thing you need to do is unbolt the left coilover piece from the thing that connects to the wheel.
I think this is the right one to disconnect. I really thought this would have come out by now. There we go. Some of you at home are hoping that I'll explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and why it works. I'm just following a tutorial, guys. I have no idea what I'm doing. But basically now I can raise this up and then I'm gonna twist the bottom one to pull it up into the car, which will lower the ride height.
Honestly, I felt like everything was going pretty well. Everything seemed to be raising upwards, which was my goal, and I even adjusted the left coilover to match the new height. And once everything was lined up, I put the bolt back in and torqued it to spec. I even put the wheel back on, lowered it, and measured the ride height, and it was equal to the front wheel, which was kind of crazy. So all I had to do was adjust the final back wheel, but then this happened.
Oh no. No.
Oh my God, the whole thing broke.
I'm speechless. The spring just popped out. I have literally no idea how that happened. Maybe I can just put it back together.
But I thought maybe nothing actually broke. The spring just popped out of place and I could put it back in.
Okay, I actually put it back together. The thing is, I don't know if I can do that. I think it just popped out of place. I'm not driving this thing yet, so please let me know if I've made a horrible mistake in putting this back together. All right, guys, I must have done something wrong because this is super loose now. Like everything here is pretty loose. And the spot where this is supposed to bolt into, look how far away it is now. And like, I can't lift this up really. Must have had something to do with the spring popping out. I can spin this thing to make it go lower. And it's like, everything is just a little jankier now. Well, this is my first time doing this, guys, but I think I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna call it quits. Something just doesn't feel right about it, and I don't have anyone to ask, like, if I'm doing it right or making a horrible mistake, so I'm gonna ask you guys. I've never ended a video like this before, but I think I need your guys' help. What am I doing wrong? How does suspension work? I'm just gonna leave the car on stands. I'm gonna put a stand on the other side too, just so it's balanced out. But I think that's as far as I wanna get today because I don't wanna do any damage. Oh, we got the bumper on, we got the wing on. Those went mostly flawlessly. I can't put the side skirts on because the body panels don't meet, so the side skirts won't lay flush. And we successfully lowered the front of the car, and I learned a lot. I don't know, maybe I totally messed it up, or maybe it's not that bad. I'm hoping you guys can let me know. Yeah, that is not exactly how I wanted this video to end, but that's usually how it goes here. The silver lining to this all is that I do feel like I'm learning a lot, and I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying everything. I mean, look at this. This place is awesome. I'm very blessed, and I'm very excited to keep learning and probably keep making mistakes. But all right, guys, this is the last video of the year, so I hope you enjoyed our first year here on TechZek. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm sure it's painful for some of you. But all right, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Make sure you subscribe if you want to follow along, see more E30 and E34 videos. Happy holidays. See you guys.